Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to Accountants Minute. Where does the buck finish? The Banking Royal Commission has identified that there have been significant problems in some of Australia's leading institutions. There is no doubt that the aftermath that we're now seeing has clearly established that corporate governance is a very important part of the overall corporate fabric within Australia, and that the buck for the responsibility of appropriate corporate governance rests with the directors or committee members of organisations. There has been a degree of horror expressed around Australia by ordinary citizens about some of the activities or lack of activities that have been occurring in some of Australia's leading public companies. This has led to resignations by a number of directors in what was traditionally one of Australia's leading companies. There is no doubt where the buck finishes. It finishes with the directors. There's over 1 million companies in Australia and hundreds of thousands of organisations that corporate law and the associated corporate governance concepts apply to. Many of these company directors and committee members will be looking for guidance from their key advisors, their accountants, as to what they should be doing in their organisations. Because many directors are fully aware that the activities within listed public companies sets the scene for corporate governance throughout Australia. For the law applies certain obligations on companies because of the rights that have been given to companies over the years, basically limited liability. Companies emerged 500 years ago as a special category to protect potential shareholders whilst encouraging people to invest in companies so that trade could be commenced around the world. In return, the law gave certain benefits to companies. Their taxation status and limited liability are two of the big benefits that were attributed to companies. Not-for-profits, charities and sporting organisations also are the recipients of special taxation treatment and the ability for many of their supporters to make tax-deductible contributions to them. In return for the special treatment for companies and other organisations, society expects certain standards to be abided by. This is what is generally known as corporate governance. The recent events have clearly identified that the custodians of corporate governance are the directors and committee members. What is corporate governance? ESS Small Business is commencing a corporate governance network on Tuesday the 29th of May, and in a series of webinar workshops we are going to consider all matters connected with corporate governance as it applies to directors of small medium enterprise companies and committee members of not-for-profits, charities and sporting organisations. We have assembled a group of experts who are going to participate in the webinar series and discuss issues such as what is corporate governance. Well, I think it includes matters such as directors being aware that they should be conducting due diligence review before signing on as a director of a company or a committee member of an organisation. An awareness by the other directors and management that a potential new director has the right to conduct due diligence on the organisation before accepting appointment as a director or a committee member. The board needs to establish the corporate strategy within an organisation. What's the organisation exist for? What is it aiming to achieve? The appointment of a CEO is probably one of the most important activities that a board of directors or a committee of an organisation undertakes, because that person, the CEO, is the key person to deliver the corporate strategies. That person makes the key appointments in the organisation and sets the standard. Culture is very important, and it does commence at the board of directors or committee members setting the culture of the organisation. And a lot of that relates to the appointment of the CEO. Boards should establish that they're going to have regular meetings. Many companies have meetings every month. I think every type of company should be having meetings at least once a quarter, so as to consider management's reports on what is happening within the business. The financial accounts should be closely examined at committee or board meetings, and sufficient time should be given for a detailed evaluation of the financial performance. Customer matters should be clearly discussed at every board or committee meeting. Frequency of visits, average sales, customer complaints should be on the agenda and considered, because this is real feedback coming to the directors or committee members as to what a very important group of people think about your organisation. Also, it's important that at each meeting, any team member issues are discussed. Complaints that have been lodged with Fair Work Australia. Also, Fair Work Australia deliberations as they affect the company or the industry that your company operates in should be considered. Workplace health and safety reports should be submitted so the directors can get an understanding of how many accidents have occurred in the organisation, how many serious accidents have occurred, and to get updates on appropriate training that's been undertaken within the organisation. Directors need to be kept aware of any issues relating to the Australian Taxation Office, insurance claims, or legal matters. Directors also need to have an understanding of the requirements for them to declare any conflict of interest that they might have on any matter being discussed at a board meeting, and to be very much aware of the rules relating to not trading, not committing to expenses when the company is not able to pay those bills as they fall due. We're conducting a special preview webinar on corporate governance matters on Tuesday the 22nd of May at 12 noon. We would invite you to attend, and any of your team members to attend, but also if you have clients who are directors or committee members of organisations that you believe would like to know a bit more about corporate governance, please invite them to register for the webinar. It's a free webinar. Just go to www.esssmallbusiness.com.au to register. If you have any questions about any aspect of the services supplied by ESS BIZTOOLS or ESS Small Business or the Corporate Governance Network, please do not hesitate to contact us. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.